All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the series that I call My Thoughts. And in this series, that I would just basically giving you my thoughts on a game or on something that I have interest in. And this something that I have interest in is Oil Rush. Um, as you know, I played the first entire chapter of this game, and I don't think it's going to get any more complex than what it is. It's basically a base defense as and like you have units that spawn over time, and you can tell it to go and attack other oil rigs per se or other unit production facilities. So there are oil in this game, and which are your main resource. You use this oil to build these turrets right here and to upgrade them. And apparently, so far in the first chapter, that's the only use you have for this oil. And I bet later in the game, you'll have something else to do with this oil. And I hope that you have something else to do with this oil, other than building turrets, because that's very lame if that's the only thing you use oil for. Another thing you have is experience. Every time you kill a unit, or capture a base, or kill a turret, you get a certain amount of experience points, of which you will level up, and you will get 2 points of to put into any skill you want. My complaints with this is that you level up way too quickly. Um, if you watch my last mission of Oil Rush in Chapter One, you see that I level up so fast that I got every single skill maxed out in less than 10 minutes of the start of the entire level. I mean, what? Is it going to be that fast later on in the game too? Because that's way too fast of an experience game. And it just takes out of the challenge of this game on the early stages. And the enemy units in this game, for some reason, is also maxed out. Like, their units can kill yours so fast, even though you have upgraded units. So I don't know if your upgrade, whenever you upgrade, the enemy also get that upgrade, or they get the upgrades just as fast as you. See, this is why when you upgrade stuff in this game, it doesn't feel as if your unit is getting stronger, because you see them die left and right. There's none of that, oh, now I just upgraded my army. They should be able to kill everything, and should be able to move on to the next phase, kill everything there, and move on to the next phase because my unit is now max upgraded. So, so when you don't get that feeling, it's weird. Like, even though you know that your unit is max upgraded, they're still dying way too quickly. So that's a very odd thing to have. If you have an upgrade, make sure that it affects the game majorly if you're fighting against an unupgraded unit. And you may be thinking, well, yeah, if you fight against an unupgraded unit, but you just said the computer might also upgrade with you, then what's the point of upgrading in the single player campaign other than to match up with the computer? You know what I'm saying? So, upgrades within the single player campaign itself is pretty useless. Now, multiplayer obviously will be different since you are fighting against another person. But then again, if you have the same experience gain as you do in the single player game, which is so fast, it wouldn't matter anyways, because both of you would also get every single upgrade in like the first 15 minutes of game, and all of your units will be the same, and there will be no difference. What I'm also seeing here is that there is very few. Yep, I was right. There is no factions. There's zero. So in the skirmish, they don't let you pick different factions. There's only one type of faction in this game, and you use the same units to kill each other. So the amount of different units that you get in this game is not very large. Since everyone would get the same units anyways, there is none of that. This unit will beat this unit will beat this unit, and then it's like a rock paper scissors thing, and that's what they're trying to do. It's not like, I hate to compare it to this, but it's not like StarCraft where they have a huge amount of units of which you can use any of them, and any of them would be effective if used properly. In this game, units seems to be a rock paper scissors style, and again, that is not bad, but I would like to see different factions. So when you pick a different faction, you can capture a point, but instead of spawning, say, jet bikes with machine guns, you can spawn something else, like, I don't know, a different skin to unit, but they function the same way. That way, um, you would get a more visual appeal to see that there are competing enemies, competing factions towards each other, unlike this, where everyone is just using the same unit, using the same style, and fight each other. There's none of that, immersion in this world where oil is dominating, in this world where everything is flooded and oil is the main thing that you need um, to have everything functioning. You know, uh, another thing about this game is that it's very boring for me. Simply because all you do in this game is wait for units to automatically spawn, tell them to go to a location, and then they fight. And they try to take over that location, and that's it. It's not very appealing to a lot of people because you don't get to do a lot of things. There's no micromanaging of units here. There is not even macro managing. All you do is wait for units to spawn, tell them to go to a location, wait for them to take that location, and then move on to the next. Rinse, wash, and repeat. It's the same formula over and over again. Yes, you can build defenses. Yes, you can have an economy management to where if you want to get better defenses and for different locations, because that's all I know. So far, the economy in this game is very simplistic. You capture oil rigs, which will generate a constant amount of oil or income, and then you can use that income to upgrade your turrets around your different bases so that they can defend themselves practically, and then you can use your extra units instead for defense for offense. Um, the game that jumps out at me when I play this style of game is called Euphoria. And if you don't know that game, it's basically the same thing. You wait for units to spawn, you tell them to go to a location, and that's it. They take over that location, and then you move on to the next. One thing about Euphoria that this game does not have is that there is connecting planets, which mean every single asteroid or every single planet in Euphoria, you have to go from planet to planet in order for you to advance through the map. This game does not have that, and this is where the major problem that I have with this game is that you think that an oil rig that is tucked behind three different unit building facilities with upgraded turrets should be able to defend this oil rig, but you can't. It's not like that because a unit can simply bypass all of your upfront stationary defense and just go right to the back without anything that you can do about it, really. Um, and that's a major problem because then that means you have to leave some units at the oil rig because you can't set up defense for it, which means your armies will be less. And it's very annoying when you are like far out into the battle and then you see one enemy ship running towards your oil rig, and there's no units for you to call back to defend this oil rig because they're all at the front line and you're trying to take this base. And then next thing you know, all of your oil rig has been taken, and you're like, what the fuck? You know? Because I thought they were defended because I put, like they're all behind stationary turrets, but apparently, since this game does not have predetermined places to go, like you have to take this base before you can move on to this base, that sort of style of movement, the enemy can just bypass all that and go for your main building or whatever building they want to take. And I don't like that. It just is weird because you have no way of stopping the enemy from doing that, from what I can tell. Now, in late game, that might change in the fact that you have abilities like placing mines or calling in an airstrike or something like that. But even then, what if the enemies, take all of your items and then you have no more oil to use your abilities? Um, okay, that's another thing you use oil for, which is for abilities. You unlock them and then you spend oil to actually use your abilities, and then you have to wait for a cooldown that ability to actually use it again. So yeah, what if all your units at the front and now you don't have any more oil places because the enemy took them, and now you have to send units back, and then the enemies are like, huh, now you don't have units defending your front line. I'm gonna send units to your main front line and wipe out your main front base and take it, and then I will have a superior number and I'll win. And that's another problem with this game. The more bases that you have, the more chances you will win. Meaning, if a person is pushed down all the way to having 3 base and the enemy is having, say, 5 bases, there is no way you can win. There is impossible because the enemy would have a huge amount of number of units to send at you, and you would have like none. Well, you have a lot less. And with that said, what are you supposed to do when you're stuck in that position? You know, there's not a lot you can do except you might look out and have like and win somehow, or if not, then mainly the main thing is you would lose. So that's a problem. Um, so far, all I've been saying is what I dislike about this game. So what do I like about this game? I like the graphics. All right, the graphic is very decent. You know, I actually have to lower it down just because of I'm recording stuff, so that I don't want the video to actually lag. But the graphic is very nice. The water detail is extremely beautiful. Um, what else? Uh, Mainly just the graphics. The environment itself is just water. It's just water after water, and then there's ice water, and then there's just water. There is water. There's a lot of water, and I guess when you do it this way, you can say, well, yeah, the world's flooded. I don't have to do a lot of trees or something like that. You know, so the environment itself is an iffy. You know, if you like simple, environments, then this is what this game have. The game also offers you a cinematic camera, which will zoom into a unit and it will spin around the unit just like in a movie, and you can watch that unit kill stuff. Um, but the benefits of this game for me personally is, well, it's not that fun. I personally didn't beat Euphoria either because of the same game style. You wait for units to spawn, you click on another location, they go to that location, they take it, you wait for more units to spawn, you click on another location, they go and take it. Is is a very tedious style of gameplay. However, this game tried to add in abilities, which does enlighten the game somewhat, but is still not my cup of tea. Now, if you like that kind of game where you just sit back, relax, and just enjoy the cinematic camera, enjoy the amazing graphics, then this is your game. You just want to sit back, relax, not micromanaged, not macro, a little bit of economy managing, then this is your game. You don't have to do a lot in this game. Mainly, they put in the cinematic camera simply because they know that there's not a lot you can do in this game that would require your, constant attention. So that's why they put in that cinematic camera for you to, every once in a while press that button and you would zoom into a unit, watch a semi good cinematic destruction of an enemy fleet, and then you just go back, wait for more units to spawn, and then you would tell that group you need to join up with your main force, and then send them to another spot to take another base. So if that's your game, that's what you want, and this is for you. For me, like I said, personally, is not my game, is not what I would like to spend my time playing. And with that said, I don't think I'll be putting out any more videos of this game simply because I don't think it's very fun to play this style of game. So that has been my thoughts. If you want a number score, I would give this really a 6.5. It is above average game. All right, it's above a 5, so it's above average game. But for me personally, I don't think it's above a 7 because if it's a 7 or above, I would continue to play it until I beat it. But it's not that type of game for me, so it gets a 6.5 from me. So yeah, that has been my thoughts, and I hope that this helped you in deciding if you would like to get this game. It is 1995, from what I can tell. It might change. Who knows? Um, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching.